And even like jump off what you're saying, like even sometimes when I find myself in those situations, I will say like there are those like I gotta tell you like we have a very minimal amount of like black friends out here. I have my personal ones, like the homies, and stuff like that,
Yep.
but like other couples and stuff like that. So
Same.
like
Yep.
there may be like, maybe one or two regular we see, but it's predominantly white or Hispanic out here most of the time. So a lot of the times, I'm the one that feels uncomfortable. One, because like all of the men, typically their fashion out here is the exact same. Like it's a golf polo, cargo shorts, maybe like some type of t-shirt, whatever. It's typically the same. So they all
Hmm.
view each other as like, hey, I relate to him. I understand him because he looks like me. And it's
Yep.
not even necessarily color. Like even some of the black guys and stuff like that, they dress the exact same way. But like they don't feel, I think sometimes the way I dress sometimes makes people feel that like I'm either above or I'm immature. And
Yeah.
I hate
Yep.
I hate when I can't tell the difference. If
Yep.
I walk in wearing a tie, oh man, everybody is like showing like the most respect of all time. Now, if I walk in I could be wearing a $300 Kith hoodie. It doesn't mean nothing to anybody because all they see is a super duper colorful hoodie that just says Kith. They don't know what that is. And then even if you try to like, hey, what is this? Oh, Kith, it's like a New York based brand, a guy writing. They don't know nothing about any of this stuff. Like, so it's just like, I just sound like ridiculous, like, oh, Ronnie Feig. I'm like explaining all this. Oh, they did a collaboration with this. If I walked in anywhere, if I walk to now let's talk environment. If I walk to a sneaker con and I'm wearing a Bart Simpson Kith sweater, ooh, look at that cat. If I wear a Bart Simpson sweater to, we're going to dinner with a couple, like, why are you wearing Bart Simpson? Like, what are you, a child? Like, what I mean? And then I would never do that. I
Never.
would be like, never. I would never step
Never.
out. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, I can be like, oh, this Simpson shirt costs $255 though. It doesn't matter. It's Bart Simpson on
Yep.
a skateboard
Yep.
or whatever he's on, and that's it. That's all people see.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I got to make those decisions too, and that sort of like really reflects or affects what I buy because I think I had bought some Kith, the Captain Kith
Right.
collaboration, the t-shirts, and I was like, oh, these are cool, these are fire, right? And then like they got in my closet, and I would never have a situation to wear them, and like it's like I'm gonna wear this to parent teacher conference? No, I can't wear that there. I can't wear it to work. I can't wear it.
All right.
Where am I gonna wear it? Right? Like I'm not in enough situations, and Connecticut is kind of like Arizona where we don't have a lot of sneaker events, if any. And if I'm
And
gonna go to
I
one,
don't even like going to sneaker events. I keep
yeah,
saying that, but
like
I don't even like going to that.
because you're a dad and you work like I do and you have to deal with your children when you come home. It's like exhausting to think about one more thing, right? One
Oh
more
my
thing that i'm
God,
gonna
yeah.
that i'm gonna do. Like I always do stuff and then I'm happy that I did it, but at the same time I'm like, I'm not gonna buy this Kits shirt with Bart Simpson on it because ultimately I'm not going to save it for that one event that I might go to possibly in the future.
Right.
Like it just doesn't make sense for me, and I'm not going to wear it enough around the house for me to feel like I got my money's worth out of it. Not when I could go buy a Banana Republic plain tee for, you know,
Right.
10% of the price, right? So I feel like I'm always making those sort of, I think, clothing decisions when I'm going to buy stuff. And that's why like Kith, I feel like I was bigger into them before everything they did was a collaboration because I felt like, I could buy something that's plain, that's just Kith, that's very simple, and that was Ronnie. And like, there's a lot of brands like that I don't feel like I can jump into because I'm like, where am I gonna wear this? I can't wear this. Like,
When you talk about the collaborations and stuff like that, like it does feel that way. I never really cared about it too much because I would never buy it anyways, but it was like there was a point when Ronnie did the first Coca-Cola collaboration and he had the Chuck Taylors.
mhm,
Man, I wanted those
yeah,
Coca-Cola Chuck Taylors. But it was like, why? Like, why would I want to wear Coca-Cola like that? Like, and I tried to even trick myself. I tried to tell myself like, oh, it's just like wearing Nike. It's just like it just says Coca-Cola, but it just didn't
It's
fit
not.
in my growth of a person. When I see Kith, and I hate that we'll talk LL Bean with the peanut, with like when peanut would do like the Todd Snyder, like the peanut collaboration. When I saw stuff like that, I was like, man, I think that's super dope, but like I don't want it to just be a Charlie Brown peanut shirt. Like, yes, this might be way more than the peanut shirt that they sell at Old Navy, but it doesn't mean that if I'm not in an environment to do so. Now, a lot of people will listen to this show and say, oh, who cares? Where would you like? Where would you like?
Yeah.
No, it's just not that simple.
No.
I love OG Mitchell and Ness jerseys. I used to buy the Mitchell and Ness throwbacks all the time when I was younger. Now that like not some of the baseball ones now. And like every once in a while, you'll catch like a batting practice jersey on sale for like $45. Oh, cool. I'll throw 45. I'm not gonna pay 150. Pay
Hmm.
$45. And then I get it. I wear it once and I feel so immature. Like
Yeah.
I'm talking, I got my kids, and it's like, why am I wearing this? I'm not even at a baseball. Like, why am I wearing this baseball jersey? Like, I wouldn't even wear a baseball jersey to a baseball game. Like, but I'm wearing it. I'm wearing it in my everyday life. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I've been trying to, when it comes to fashion, I was never into buying a lot of brand shirts like Undefeated and stuff like that. I feel like brands right now have done a good job to make you feel like, oh shoot, that Undefeated shirt looks good. Like they have it modeled good on the website. It's like, oh, okay, I could wear that with some chinos if I wanted to, and throw on a Van or throw on a Vapor Max or something and look okay.
Yep.
And then I'll get it and I'll wear it sometimes, but I find myself putting on clothes. I don't know how when you get dressed, I put the shirt on and then I'm like, oh my God, take this back off. I don't
Yep.
like this.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? Let me throw this Undefeated. I bought this one shirt just to wear with AirTech Challenge 2. It was a tennis Undefeated, big old tennis ball on the shirt. And I was like, ooh, got it, put it on. Oh God, take this off. Like it just wasn't, it didn't
Yeah.
feel like
Yep.
me. So then I started ending up buying, which made no sense. Like, well, I mean, I guess it does for my style. I started spending a lot more money on plain shirts, like an all gray t-shirt. Like
Yep.
I'll buy an
Yep.
all gray t-shirt that's like $85. And it's like it's irresponsible because there's so many great t-shirts out there, but I like the quality a little bit more. I started kind of like buying more. I used to buy a lot of Comme des Garçons shirts because I was like, oh, it's plain and it got a little hard in the corner, and they were a little bit pricey. But then it was like once I had got the basics like black, green, and white, then I was like, oh, I'll get the yellow, then the green, then the blue, and I was like, oh my God, now I'm stuck with lime green. These lime green shirts. I was like, all right, I can't wear these all the time. And when you wear stuff like that, it's hard to decipher when the last time you had wore it or how many times you don't want to be that person. Like, man, every time I see him, he's got that on. So, I will say, like, I'm not like, I don't say I'm envious because I love my life and where I am, but like, you get a little envious. You see the young bucks out here, they get to wear whatever they want, do whatever they want sometimes. So,
I feel like, I see jerseys all the time and I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna rock that. Like I could kill that. Like Boston to the Boston Red Sox, right? They just came out with that
right,
yellow and blue
right,
jersey. I'm like, that's fire. But I can't wear it. And I know I won't. And I know I can't. So like I'm not,
right.
like it's kind of disappointing that I can't pursue things like that anymore. But um I don't know, like I kind of get happy with the basics, but at the same time, like you said, once you get the black, the gray, the white, what's left, where you at after that. And so, that's, I think for me, that's kind of why sneakers is like the big thing, because I can do so much with that and I can do so much versatility. And I feel like, to go back to your question about why I stray away from Nike, I feel like when I do a colorful Asics or I do a colorful New Balance, it's a lot easier to justify that with a basic outfit than it is to do that with a Jordan. I always or a Nike. Like I feel like with a Nike or a Jordan, if it's outlandish, if there's a lot of color, it's really hard to pull off and not kind of feel like I'm really immature, or I just went on Nike's site and just bought the loudest thing I could find, right? And so
All right.
that is sort of one of the things that also just kind of pushes me away from buying from Nike all the time. It's just not feeling
Yeah.
like everyone has access to it, everyone's buying it. And so like it doesn't feel like it was created like I thought about what I was buying enough when I bought it.
Yeah, like I feel that way with hats, hats and sneakers. Like if my shirt and pants are really plain or basic, then my shoes and my hat, they'll do just fine. And I've learned to like just kind of like understand that that's like my style now. I think that was probably the hardest part about style was having to get to a point to where you have to adopt a certain style. I was so used when I was younger to where we could flip it. You could flip it. One day I'm wearing a hoodie that's like covered in skeleton bones or whatever LRG at that time. Then the next week I could wear a baseball, I mean a basketball throwback, you ain't never seen before. Then I could come back and wear, a Ralph Lauren polo, then I could bring it back to a, whatever. Now it's like you'll have those moments. So like you talk about that Boston jersey. Boston hasn't worn another color like that ever. Like it was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. Like I don't even know if like even if you're not a Boston fan, seeing that it was like, huh? You know? So it's like one of those things where it's like, man, you kind of feel like you want it. Like, I want a piece of that. And you might be able to wear it one day and feel super duper good about it, which always happens. Like, I will buy something that like I know I shouldn't, and I'll wear it and I'll be like, ooh, I felt good all day. Like I felt like my fit was fire all day. Like I felt good. Then I'll go buy another one. And then I'm like, okay, this sucks now. And now the one that I thought was fire, it sucks now too. And it's like, oh, okay. I had no business buying this. And then I find myself I like on Urban Outfitters. I like stuff on Urban Outfitters. It's like basic stuff. Sometimes it fits a little weird. You're not too sure with some of the brands, but like I'll go on there and I'll see something. And, when it comes to fashion as well, I'll tell you this when it comes to fashion, which happened to me when I was younger with Banana Republic. So you talked about like being younger and wasn't able to buy certain things until you made like a certain amount of money. Out here, one of the things with Arizona is, like I said, there is no style out here. Like the style out here is just kind of freelance, whatever. It is. It's not a. It isn't like oh, everybody's out here professional. Everyone's out here casual. There's a lot of the style out here is be as try not to be hot. That's the style. So like a lot of places like Banana Republic, J. Crew, your Gaps and things like that, they don't draw a ton of crowds with adults. With your kids, like Kids Gap, oh, Kids Gap is popping, but since it's connected to Gap, it goes out of business too. So like a Banana Republic out here, people aren't. It's a polo golf type out here field. They're not gonna go in there and buy a thick button down t-shirt, button down shirt. You know what I mean? So like when I was younger, I'm talking going to work when I was in college, going to places, I was wearing Banana Republic in college and high school, because I could go into Banana Republic and go find a fire button down dress shirt. It'd be like $18. You know what I mean? Regular 99, and it used to be like that. Nobody in the state of Arizona. Well, there are some, but like it is not popular in Arizona to have expensive dress clothes. You know what I mean? Like it's like, what for? I'll just wear this PGA Tour golf polo, I don't know how like, like even with like polo, like when I went to DC and worked, all my suits were Ralph Lauren. A Ralph Lauren suit isn't cheap, okay? But you know what? Nobody out here wants to wear a suit because it's too hot. So I bought all my Ralph Lauren suits for regular like $700. I got them for like $150. I had to get them tailored and stuff. A sweater. I can go right now to buy a sweater because it's already getting hot here. It's in the 90s here already. It got to 100 on Easter. I can go buy a Banana Republic sweater, cashmere sweater, probably for like $25 right now, and just save it for when it gets cold. Back east, a cashmere sweater is like gold. It's like that's. So it's crazy how fashion works that way. Depending on where you're at, it's gonna be different. Like out here, it's hard to find mediums in t-shirts because everybody's buying the t-shirts. Finding a 33, 32 in the waist is almost impossible out here when it comes to pants.
A lot of what you said is very reflective of where you are and where I am, and where just a lot of people in our age range are. I think we grew up in the era of sneakers. Michael Jordan made it popular for us, and so the sneaker casual combo is something that is part of who we are, just in terms of our generation. Like you said, tattoos. We made tattoos the thing, and that life cycle we're not going to see until we're in our 80s or whatever. And so
Right.
I think it's interesting that even though you're across the country, you sort of have the same thought process that I have when it comes to buying something. And I think it's just reflective of where you are in your life. And a lot of people that may listen to this are a lot younger and can get away with a lot more. Like I see Rico, and he's a lot younger than we are. Maybe not that much younger, but younger enough so that he doesn't have to think about some of the things that we have to calculate, when we're going
Right.
someplace. And so I'm always kind of like, man, I wish I could wear that. Man, that's dope. But I can't. And I can't and I can't I could buy it, but I can't wear it.
Right. You can't wear it like a Rico could wear it. I see some of the Eric Emanuel shorts and I'm like, ooh, them is fire. I have to carry my wallet, my keys. I gotta probably carry a pack of goldfish. I gotta carry a bunch of stuff. I can't wear hoop shorts. You know what I mean? Like my daughter she's in preschool, but she's still like, oh, pick me up. I gotta pick her up, carry her. There are times where it's like, oh, I want to put on a button-up shirt, like a short sleeve version of a button-up shirt. I'll put that on, but then like we go out, and then my daughter's like, oh, pick me up. Okay, I gotta carry her now. And we're walking through the place. I'm holding her, and then my son is out of control. Hey, come here, sit your butt down. I gotta do all these extra things that people don't have to, which is why like you can see a Rico or you can see a Mike, the camp out. You can see them like, hey, I'm throwing on this today, cool. And a bag, I'm good. Because they don't have to like not to minimize their lives or their responsibilities, but like they don't gotta like go pick up the kids from school and then deal with sitting in the car because the parking lot's packed full of parents. And then you leave there, then you gotta figure out dinner. And then like, you just can't, you don't have to take care of yourself. You gotta feed everybody. It ain't just like, let me go pick myself up something. Then it's like, all right, that's done. Then you gotta do bath time, then bedtime, then you gotta try to find time to go to the gym or you'll die because we're older now. Like it's just so much things that like, you know what? I need new clothes now. Let me go buy, like you said, oh man, those jeans fit perfect. Let me go buy four of them. Let me buy the black, two blues, and a brown pair. Let me buy all of those because I know they fit. I saw a couple things online that were okay. Let me grab those two. Now, with sneakers and hats, okay, I'll go buy 15 hats and I'll go buy a group of sneakers because I know how to do those.
Yep.
Clothes nowadays, like, I mean, we're older, our body's just different. Like, I eat a sandwich now and my stomach feels like I ate a bowling ball. You know what I mean? I eat a I eat a full course meal. Me and the wife go to date night, man. I eat a steak, an appetizer, some dessert, have a drink. Man, it feels like I had my last supper. Like, I yeah, like I feel like I'm about to head to the electric chair. Oh no, I gotta lay down. I'm about to die. Like I'm checking my heart, my pulse. I ate so much. When you get a certain age. So it's amazing that way. But it's something that like I love and I'll never change. And I will say this though, I about social media and stuff like I do. It makes me cringe sometimes when I do see people which is why I think we don't do it. When I see people that are like my age dressing a certain way, because I view them that way. And I hate that I do that because it's messed up, but I'd be like, yo, why is this man got to be about 45 years old? What is he doing with this, whatever on? I don't know his life, but that's how I look at it. And then I also, and I hate to say this, Dave, I really do, but like Arizona is there ain't a lot of black people out here. Okay. So then when I wear a jersey, to them it's like, well, he's black. It's like that's what they do, you know? And it's like if I wear a pair of purple shoes, well, they like to spice it up a bit. You know what I mean? Just the way it is.
I'm in Connecticut, and like, yeah, it is the East Coast. We are, really close to New York and everything else, but there's the circles that I travel in, like there aren't as many black people as there are some places. And so
Right.
I'm always weary of becoming that stereotype because I chose to do something that I feel like falls into that stereotypical group. Like you said, like the purple shoes. Okay, I'm not gonna wear that, or the hat, or
Right.
the jersey, because I don't want to wear a jersey because I don't want to be like, oh yeah, he's wearing a jersey because he's black. Like black people love jerseys. Like I'm not
Right.
like I like it because I like it, and I don't want that to be conflated with some stereotypical feeling about how you feel about me. So like I do kind of steer away from that sort of.
Yeah. And I don't want anybody to listen to this and take this as like, oh man, like wear what you want, be yourself. Who cares what they think? No, no, no. Trust me, we do what we want to do. But when you're in the environments that we in, as much as we are, at times it will make you feel uncomfortable or out of place. I tell people this all the time. When I was in college, I would be in a room of 500 plus students. I was the only black person in the entire class. Okay. So now that I'm the only black person in this entire classroom of 500, and I'm also the one that I don't ever wear flip-flops. Everybody in the room wearing flip-flops. They all look and dress the exact same. I got on a Ron Harper 1990 Cavaliers throwback on and a baseball hat and a white do-rag. Now, that's my style. That is mine. But I'm going to give you an understanding that it did put me in a box. And when it came down to like, hey, everybody, I need you to get into a group of 10 people to work on a business plan for our class of a project. They didn't want to work with me because, and now I'm not trying to say that like that's how it should have been, but like I had the do-rag on, I had the hat, tipped. I mean, I was in class like this, tipped, throwback, white do-rag tied to the side, do-rag strings hanging. Even though I was one of the smartest, if not the smartest in the classroom, it didn't matter. And it was like, well, I'm in the group with him. Oh, shoot, he ain't gonna do nothing. Come to find out, I had to do all the work and do everything. You know what I mean? But it's just a natural progression when you get older. Anybody younger listening to this, they're not gonna understand that. They just won't understand it because you have to have a certain level of accomplishment in your life. Like I have done it all. I did everything that you would call cookie cutter right. I met my wife, my girlfriend in college. We never lived together ever before marriage. I stayed at home until we got married. I did like what we were all told to do. I got married, got a home, we had a child together. I did all that essential stuff. I had a career. I did an internship. I'm in my career. I've been in my career for 13 years now. I didn't have job. No, no, no. I started my career. You know what I mean? I was working in DC. I was going to be a lobbyist. I was really out there on Capitol Hill. I was in the Capitol. I was on Rayburn. I was in the yard. I was with the people writing speeches and doing stuff like that. My first time going to Boston was traveling up with Bakari Sellers, helping him write a speech on stuff that we were speaking on in Boston and Massachusetts and stuff like that. Like I've done some real professional things that I'm sorry, I just wasn't in a lot of places where like it progressed how it should have. Like, yes, jerseys and stuff in college, high school, cool. But then I grew up. Like I grew up And now that I am settled in my career and settled in my life and settled in who I am as a person and as a father, I like to dabble here and there. Oh, look at that. Ivy brand with the tie-dye. That joint is fire. I'm gonna go ahead and cop that and dabble in it. Let me tell you something. We were staying at the Waldorf Astoria in California. I mean, I think I might have been, I saw two other black people there. All right. And when the other black guy saw me, no joke, David, he goes, "What's up, brother? What's up, my man?" Excited to see me. And my wife goes, I told my wife, I said, "You saw that, right?" She said, "Oh, yeah, he had to make sure he was excited to see you." Now, I'm wearing the Ivy brand at the pool. The picture I posted, I'm at the pool. This is a resort. I'm talking, this place was expensive. Okay. I'm not gonna brag. I'm proud of how much work me and my wife have done as a couple to be able to do stuff like that on a private beach and stuff like that. I'm proud of it. And I want that for everybody who, and I'm wearing the Ivy brand shirt, the sweater with the tie-dye. I still got looks like, boy, that's interesting. I did. Now you can say, okay, nobody was. No, trust me, they were. They looked like, well, that's bright. They did. It didn't matter that we could all afford to stay in the same resort or hotel. It didn't matter. They still saw something, but I enjoyed it and I liked it because it was my style. It was me. My kids were dressed wearing polo and Scottie Pippins and stuff. They were my daughter had a beautiful dress on and her little, whatever shoes my wife buys, and Melissa, whoever, whatever, you know what I mean? So it's just like a progression of growth when it comes to fashion. It's like you can throw on your hoop shorts when you don't got a lot to do today. You can't throw on your hoop shorts, David, if you got to go, venture off with the kids, go see the in-laws, go do this. Just hoop shorts just ain't it right now. You know what I mean? And when it comes to holidays, I judge it up a little bit more. I wear something really nice on the holidays. When I was younger, I throw on a hoodie. I'm sitting on the couch. I ain't got to do nothing. No, I now have to go pick up people. I got to go pick up a turkey. I got to do this. So, like, I want to look presentable. I want to match the holiday. I want to match the feeling. I don't want to just throw on my Cowboys jersey because the Cowboys play the Redskins on Thanksgiving, like always, or the Washington football team. My bad. The DMV, whatever they're called. So it is what it is, and I hope people listen to this and say, like, man, I understand that, I get it. Like I try not to judge anybody anymore. Everybody has those moments when you're younger. You judge people. Oh, what are they wearing? What are you doing? Man, it doesn't even matter anymore. You see somebody wearing a pair of gray sweats, you're like, ew. But them gray sweats might have cost $2,000. Like, who knows? Who knows now? So
The good thing about fashion is it's at a place right now where everything could cost whatever, everything could be upscale, everything could be, something they got at Walmart or something they bought at Louis Vuitton. It doesn't really, you can't really tell the difference unless you're really, really in tune to everything, which I don't think anyone really can be.
right.
But I
Well,
think,
I'm sorry, real quick, to go back to what you said earlier when we started the show. You had said that, like, you listen to other shows, and like even us, we don't talk about clothes a lot on our show. And that's because one thing I love about sneakers is because you can go on social media, you can go out, you can do a lot of stuff and see the most fire sneakers on people's feet, and they can't dress whatsoever. So that's what kind of bonds a lot of people when it comes to sneakers. Me and George isn't a clothes person. He just doesn't, and he cares, but he doesn't care like I would care. You know what I mean? George could buy 500 white t-shirts, 500 gray t-shirts, and he's good the rest of his life. He's fine with that. You know what I mean? Now he'll buy some cool pants, and his stuff always fits good. George dresses good, but it's nothing. No.
Don't get it twisted. George could dress because I've seen.
Oh, no. See, I tell George that. I say George can dress when George feels like dressing. I'll post a picture of George. George, he can dress, but it's just not like a topic of importance, to like him and things like that. But like sneakers and stuff like that, you can easily relate to. I do feel like, when it comes to, clothes is something that like I view as some viewing as extra work. It's hard. I'll look at some of like the Ivy brand stuff, and I'll look at it and I'll say, like, I don't know if I could wear that. Like, I'm not sure if I can. I said I would love to. Now the one like I just bought recently, that one that I wore in that picture, I had to have that joint. It's just fire. Because I
Yeah.
have the other tie-dye one that has the fox on the back. I have the green and purple one. And I liked it, but I was like, I don't know if I could wear this all the time. You know what I mean? Um, and but like, when it, like I said, like, it's one of those things where like with me, I try to find time to think about it as much as I can, but I don't want to be paralyzed by it. You can go in your closet and be paralyzed with like what I want to wear. I already have the issue with sneakers. I can't have it with clothes too.
No, no. That's why the basics are always really safe for me. Like I'll wear a blue crew neck, I'll wear a black crew neck, I'll wear a gray sweatshirt, you know what I mean? And it's not gonna make me feel like I'm either gonna pay a price if I go somewhere wearing that or
Right.
out of place, and that's always key for me. And it's not about like not being afraid of being who I am or wearing what I like and all of that. It's more about paying a price for it. Like I think people underestimate the fact that you pay a price sometimes, whether you believe it or not, for wearing certain things in certain places. Like I could wear certain things to work, and yeah, I'm not gonna lose my job, but I might not get invited back to a meeting that really would have an impact in, or that would really help advance my career if I show up looking a certain way. And yeah, I may like what I wear, but at the same time, I'm gonna pay a price for it. And people, I think a lot of younger people don't understand that yet. And I think there's a generational thing that
They don't.
we definitely learned and we accepted that okay, certain things are accepted, certain things are not accepted. And I think there's a push. I think there's a generational push going on right now too, where the younger generation is just like, hey, there are certain things that you got to accept about us that our generation didn't push for, and that the generation before us wouldn't accept from us, right? So like tattoos was that thing that we said, hey, you got to accept this. This is what we're gonna do, and you're gonna have to deal with it. And like the next generation is like, oh, tattoos, that's nothing. Here's what we're saying you got to accept, in the workplace. And I'm
Yeah.
all over the place, where they're dyeing their hair, they're doing, I mean, I'm dyeing my hair, but they're doing all kinds of
Right.
stuff, right? So like they're doing all kinds of stuff and they're saying you got to accept this. And like I think,
Dude.
hey, it's a generational shift, but I'm still in a position where they still need me. I'm not LeBron. I'm not like one of these people where I could get away with, not
Right.
being, with being so valuable that I can do whatever I want. Like I'm still beholden to somebody. And so
Dave,
it's reflected in
I
my
mean,
clothes.
you just made the absolute perfect point. Like, it's a generational thing. It is. So like in my position that I'm in, like I have quite a bit of power. I hire people. I make decisions. Like I make a lot of decisions on stuff. And I remember we were in this thing like where we're forced to take these like classes and these classes on, how to hire people and do things like that. And we got into the biggest argument in this class because, and maybe it was inappropriate for me to make the comment, but it was how I was raised, how you were raised, how we were raised professionally at work. I'm not hiring nobody with a tattoo on their neck in certain positions. I'm sorry. Like I'm not doing that right now. And I don't want to say that in a discriminative, like imitative manner. It's just that, and it's not the tattoos itself, it's where they're located. Like we have employees that work in certain sectors of our area because they're considered maybe blue collar or they're not amongst people often. They got tattoos on their neck, face, back of their head. They got stuff like that. Now, coming into an office setting, a professional setting where we have meetings, we do press conferences, we do like serious stuff. I'm sorry, but the guy with, his girlfriend's tattoo on the back of his neck, like that goes up the side of his jawline, something that is widely accepted yet. Now, this person, back when we were growing up, person with tattoo on jawline face, you were scary. Oh, you're not scary anymore. You just got a tattoo on your face. You just make bad decisions to me. Okay. But we got into that argument about because I said, oh, I'm sorry. You sit in front of me asking for a job and you got a tattoo on your face. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you might not get it. And they were like, you're crazy. This is art. They were yelling, this is art. You're insane. And I said, see, you're 22. Like, you're 22. And when I see you, I say to myself, man, you didn't just get that yesterday. You've had that for a while. You make bad decisions. Okay. Like, you make decisions that I don't feel that are smart and wise. Like, you're gonna have to come in here in damn near a tuxedo for me to take you serious with a tattoo up the side of your head. I'm sorry. I don't want to sound like that or be that guy, but that's how we were brought up professionally. Now, is it getting more accepted? Sure. You got sleeve tattoos? Okay, I ain't tripping. Tattoos on your fingers? I ain't tripping. You know, on your arms, shoulders, your legs, if you wear short, I ain't tripping off of that at work. If you wear a polo shirt and you got sleeve tattoos, I ain't tripping. That's cool. That's fine. Me. Like, I want sleeve tattoos one day. I think I'm beating my point of getting them, but you're not, or you're not, that to me is a little bit different than like you come in and you got a skull in the middle of your neck right here. That's a little different than if you had the skull on your elbow. It wouldn't bother me. Oh my God, they just lost their minds on me. They were like, yeah, I thought I could. And I said, there's a stark difference. Our generation, I'm sorry, our parents, before tattoos, it was earrings.
Oh yeah.
I finally, the only way I was able to get my first earring in the left ear, I got my first one was because my uncle, who was a year older than me, he was able to convince my grandpa, his dad, to let him get one. My dad viewed it as my grandpa was a deacon in a church. So my dad was like, okay, well, if your grandpa let your uncle get it, then fine. I'll be fine with one. So then we both had one, but then he got two. My dad was not having it with two earrings. Like, he wasn't having it. So then we found this barber shop who was illegally piercing ears because you had to be 18. So we went to the barber shop. He pierced my other ear. So now let me tell you this, David. This is living in Arizona. It was 100+ every day. In order to hide that second earring, I wore a beanie every single day, David. My head smelled like the bottom of the ocean. Like, my head smelled crazy. I had to smell my head all day because I was trying to hide that second earring from my dad. That little hump of earrings was major when it came into certain families. It was like, men, two earrings. What are you insane? Men, one earring? What are you, nuts? Then it went to like, then it was like, but we even had before earrings, it was like sagging pants, you know? Sagging pants in California was like gang culture, but it was also like style, you know what I mean? But people weren't ready to accept it yet because sagging pants did start on that lower level of gang culture. That's who you saw doing it, you know? Technically, the quote unquote bad people were the ones sagging, but we like, it was cool. So we had to get over that hump. Then earrings, and then, you know, extended fashion. My mom didn't even want me wearing clothing that had a lot of skulls on it and fire and stuff like that. Like, I mean, we had the most Ed Hardy and Christian Audige clothes of all time. And my mom was like, why are you wearing that skull that got a snake crawling out the eye and on the back is a bat and it's on fire and it's glittery and it got Swarovski crystals on it. Like, we was out here, all right? Like, we were wearing the big Jim Jones skull belt buckles. Like, we was wild, all right? So like, every generation has these humps. And like you said, like I had said earlier, we're that generation to where we're not gonna see what all these tattoos look like until we get old. Like, like we forget Pharrell them had all the tattoos and stuff, and Pharrell's like pretty close to 50, maybe 40 something, mid 40s. That's not too far from us.
No.
So it's like these original people in our era of growing up, they're the test subjects. Like, man, I can't wait to see what Pharrell when he gets 70, what all those tattoos on his neck look like. Now Pharrell's an example because he's young forever. I don't know how he does it, but you know what I mean. Like, all of our athletes, you know.
Yep. Yeah. No. The earring thing is real though, because my wife got this part of her ear pierced.
Yeah.
Maybe like a year, not even a year ago. It was 9 months ago. Like 9 months ago. And she was still like, oh, my parents gonna have something to say.
Yeah.
35. She got a kid. Like, we own a house. Like, what are you? So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the younger generation, they really, I think that they don't understand, like, that we still in our minds are compromising and trying to figure out, like, okay, what's the line? And the people that were our parents that were sort of making the decisions about, like, hey, this person is going to be in this position, this person is able to move up. Those people are still there. Those people are still, like, for us who were, in regular, 9 to 5 jobs, like, the people that have those sort of more rigid beliefs as far as, like, what you're wearing, what you look like,
Right.
those people are still the managers. They're still sort of the higher ups. We're not those people yet. So we're not setting the threshold. So I still have to abide by some level of decorum when I put on an outfit. Like, like, I can't wear sweatpants to work. Like, I just can't do it.
Yeah. We can't.
It's
Can't
not
rock.
gonna happen, right? You know what I mean? Like, I could pull off a really dark jean. I could pull off maybe a light jean on a Friday, but sweatpants, shorts, flip flops,
Yeah.
nah, not going, not happening, right? And
They made specific rules, and it was because of me. Like, we were allowed to wear jeans on Fridays and stuff like that, which has always been the standard, but we couldn't technically wear sneakers. But I would still go against it, only because I just thought it was so stupid. Now, I will say that I have been at work like defiant on things. Like, I'll wear a baseball hat. No one's ever told me not to. You know what I mean? I didn't see it bad. Sneakers, I was told not to for a while, but then, like, I think everyone started noticing the difference in my sneakers versus everyone else's. So they started saying, like, okay, they started kind of setting these rules on them. They were like, your sneakers had to be really clean and stuff. They were like, okay, Greg's sneakers are always nice. Now we let everybody else wear sneakers. Y'all sneakers are beat and they're dirty and they're trash. They didn't want that. You know what I mean? So I did sort of, like, open the gate to, like, that type of thing, at work, understanding that. Even with, like, when it got cold, I used to like to wear a hoodie, but I put a blazer over the hoodie. You know what I mean? Because it was like, I looked at that as like an East Coast, thing. Like it was always really like you watch movies and it was really trendy, like a hoodie with a blazer over it and like a satchel bag and a jean. Like, it just looked really cool. So, like, I started doing that. And I remember it threw people off for a minute, like, threw a hoodie and a blazer. But, like, it was about how you wore it. I wore it so confidently, like, no, you just don't know about this. This isn't new. You just don't know about it. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna wear it next week too, and the week, and you'll get used to it. And then by the time you get used to it, it'll become normal to you. You know what I mean? People look at fashion. A lot of people look at fashion when they see, like you said, like the dad sometimes will look at you like, oh man, I wish I could do that. People look at fashion as if it's like unobtainable. It's hard to do. Like, I used to watch movies, watch shows, and see stuff and say, oh, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna figure out how to do that. A lot of people are so stuck in, like, where they are, that they don't realize, like, a H&M or, a Zara or something exists where it's like, okay, this guy in the movie is wearing a Gucci trench coat. Now I can't buy that Gucci trench coat because it's about 3,000, but I can go buy another trench coat from here and pull off the same look, you know? So it's like, I think in Arizona is one of those states that's always last to stuff. Like, we're always first to know about it because we have access to more people than the people that they talk to. Like, they use people around Arizona, they use social media to actually, like, be social with their friends. Like, we use social media for news. Like, I follow Twitter. I'm on Twitter for news. I'm not on Twitter for nothing else. Like, when news breaks, I hit Twitter. So then it's like, I will see something that somebody here will never see in their life. I'll throw on a jean jacket with a Mitchell and Ness baseball jersey. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I want to wear the jersey, but, like, I kind of want to make it look a little fresher. I'll throw that on. I remember wearing shorts with a hoodie. People here was like, shorts with a hoodie? Like, make up your mind. I'm like, I get it. Thank you. I get the joke. Whatever. But, like I said, you and I think, like, we both come from that same era, like how we grow up, how we were raised. Even, like, to this day, nobody in my family drunk. I had that one uncle who drunk alcohol a lot, you know what I mean? But nobody we weren't raised around that. We weren't raised around it. So like to this day, even though I'm pretty confident my mom knows I drink, I would never take a sip of alcohol in front of my mom again. Like you said, your wife and the earring. You said your wife got the earring and she was worried. I would never, man. If I was drinking a beer and my mom came in, man, I'd throw that beer across the. I get this out of here. I would never. I remember somebody told me, "Oh, be a man, drink. It doesn't matter if your mom." No, my mom didn't raise me that way. It's a respect thing. My mom isn't an idiot. She knows I drink. When she comes over here and watches the kids, she sees in the pantry that there's a couple alcohol bottles in there. Like that ain't decoration. But I would never in my life pour up a drink. Mom comes over and pour up a drink like I'm the king of. No, 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 no. This might be I might be the king of my house. When my mom is over, it's mom's rules. I don't care. I ain't just gonna whip out a cigar and start smoking a cigar or something.
You can't start in front of mom like that. Like, nah. I feel you. I feel you. Well, I think you really helped dive into this topic, and I'm hoping that we could revisit fits and talk about clothing a little bit more in the future. Because I do think it's a thing that sneaker people overlook, and like even though hats is starting to make a big I don't want to say comeback, but like hats are starting to become like a thing again. People
Right.
are all into hats. I think fashion and like how your sneaker actually works with what you're wearing and also who you are, which I think we really talked about, who you are, where you are in life is a big deal, And
Right.
I really appreciate you breaking it down. I gotta go eat some dinner. My wife is
Of
there.
course. Me
But
too.
I appreciate you taking some time today. We gotta chop it up more.
Oh, of course, man. I appreciate you inviting me on, man. I love this. Like, I love this. I love this platform for this discussion. Like, I feel like I can't have this with the podcast, because it's really hard when people aren't in the studio. You know what I mean? And plus, I always feel like this incredible pressure to keep the topic on sneakers because we get so much pushback. I mean, if we say, "Yo, did you see that movie last week?" Yo, stick to sneakers. Like I'm a human being. I watch TV. Like what the heck? Okay, we get it. You don't like that TV show. Move on.
Yeah.
I just can't look at sneakers all day. You know what I mean? So I like this platform, man. This is dope, man.
I've
And
got,
I,
I will tell you this. I've gotten some pushback. I'll get people that will say, "Oh, you guys didn't talk about this," or "How come you guys talked about this but didn't talk about that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we got to follow the progression of the conversation. It's about, it's sneaker discussions. It's not like sneaker prescribed. We're gonna hit on all these bullet points." So like for me,
yeah,
it's like, hey, I think for a lot of people, they haven't like for me, I'm in Connecticut. There's nobody else really in Connecticut, so I'm not having these interactions at all. So it's nice to be able to have just a sneaker discussion, and where it goes, and I feel like that's cool. And I understand like how, if you're talking about, hey, did you see that game last night? And like, you're gonna have to you want to talk about that. You guys are human, like, we're not gonna just sit here and like think about sneakers. And if late to sneakers, I'm gonna turn it off. Like that's crazy.
right.
So
Like, well, I used to see people like if like we would always try to do sports at the end of the podcast, but sometimes if it was something major, it'd be the first thing we talk about. I would see people like, yo, fast forward to the 25-minute point. I'm like, man, give me a break. Like it was a playoff game. Like, yo, fast forward it to 25 minutes and 46 seconds. That's when they started talking sneakers. Okay. Hey, thank you very much. Like you can't win, man. But I like this, man. You guys are doing a good job. I really enjoyed the one last week with James from Texas. James, he made, and I brought it up on the podcast. He made such a good point about the Sean Weatherspoon sneaker, about how, because when Skate was on our show, he explained how he was a part of the collaboration process of that. And then now that group of collaborators aren't with it, all this Adidas stuff has been pretty whack. And I was like, ooh, that's a good point. That was a really good point, and because it shows the collaboration of like more than one person. Like you can be as creative as you want, but the influence of others around you really matter. Like it matters. Huh?
He's always on. I have like 5 or 6 episodes that haven't even come out yet, and he's at like,
Oh, really? Put
yeah,
them
we're
joints
we're real
out.
behind. We're real behind. I got a whole bunch that I just got to edit, but you know how that is with going in and editing and doing
Sucks,
all
man.
that. So it's a labor of love, but I'll get
Yep.
to it eventually. So
Sounds good, man.
yeah, thanks again for hopping on. Like I
Of
said, we'll
course,
have to
man.
do it again.
Of course. Anytime, man. Thank you. All right. Goodbye.